Happy Thursday to you. And we celebrate the feast of Saint Scholastica. And I'll speak more on her, but let me just read from the Psalm Response 106. Remember us, O Lord, as you favor your people. Blessed are they who observe what is right, who do always what is just. Remember us, O Lord, as you favor your people. Visit us with your saving help. And God's favor rests on those who seek him, who desire him. I mentioned to celebrate the feast of Saint Scholastica. And you probably say, well, who's Saint Scholastica? She was born in the year 480, and she died in 543. So about 63 years old, and from Italy. And what also brings a note, her brother was Saint Benedict. Benedict is sort of father of the Western monasticism, Benedictines. And she too became sort of a cloistered nun. But, again, they're separate from, mixing with people, but at least once a year they had a sort of a visiting, it's called Visiting Sunday. I don't know what day of the week it was, but they able to visit each other for a day. Once a year she visited her brother at a place near the abbey. And they would spend the day worshiping God, praying together, and just discussing. And what do two saints discuss? I guess sacred text and other issues. Well, on that visiting day, they had supper together and continued their conversation. And then Benedict realized it was getting late and he had to leave, because as a monk, you're not allowed to sleep out of your cell. You had to be back in the monastery. And so Scholastica also realized that her health was failing and maybe death wasn't all that far away. She asked him to stay with her for the evening so they could continue their discussion, realizing that time was limited. So please, can we stay long and keep talking? But Benedict, faithful and obedient, says, I can't break the rules, so he refused, insisting that he needed to return to his cell. His cell's not a jail cell, it's like where they live, a little bed, a little desk and a chair, is really not much. And anyway, at that point, when he told her no and refused her, Scholastica closed her hands in prayer and sort of placed her head on the table in her hands. And anyway, as she was praying, a wild storm started outside the guest house in which they were staying. And Benedict realized what took place, said, hey, what have you done? She replied, I asked you and you would not listen, so I asked God, and he did listen. So now go off if you can. Leave me and return to your monastery. Well, because of the storm, Benedict was unable to return to the monastery, and so they spent the night sort of prayer and discussion. Interesting how that works, huh? She had the power, God has the power to intercede, and that bring the storm. But they were faithful, they loved the Lord, had a great prayer life. They took delight in prayer. And sometimes we see prayer as a drudgery or a necessary thing, a duty, a job. But prayer should be delightful for us. And we have to find a way to pray that we can. Find a way that's easy to pray, that you find life-giving. Not that every time you pray it'll always be that way, because human, habit, and it becomes routine. That's normal. But always find a way to inject your prayer. Have some favorite scriptures that you can turn to, a favorite, maybe a little prayer book. Find something that you delight in. Simply pray in God's presence. God bless you.